Hey, we did it again. Mike.
What?
Mike, you're not Lindsay. You're not Lindsay.
No, I'm certainly not.
What? Oh, man, I dropped something.
I can only aspire to be Lindsay.
You only aspire. We all aspire to be Lindsay. She's pretty awesome. Hey, Ian's on the show. We got Ian Flanigan here.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Hey, why in the heck? Where is Lund? Why is he? Oh, man.
He's pizza.
Oh, he had to go get the pizza. That's right. So while he's getting the pizza and warming up over there in the corner somewhere, let's roll the clip, Gabriel.
How's a good pizza, Jay?
Oh, yeah.
What time is it? What time is it? It's prime time. It's prime time. What time is it? Well, it would be prime time. Hey! Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday night. Welcome to Taylor Guitars Prime Time. This is usually what we do on Tuesdays. We hang out, talk about guitars, talk about music, we talk a little bit about life, we try to have some fun, we try to keep it light, we try to keep it real. And we're excited tonight on episode number 73 to have Mr. Ian Flanigan with us tonight. Hi, Ian.
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the show. Yeah, Lindsay's not here, as you may have already heard. In her place, Mr. Mike Venezia. We call him Mikey V.
What's up?
What's up, V-Man?
Roger's with us, too.
And Roger. Who could forget Roger? Yeah. So, and the host of the show, Mr. Jay Parkin. Hi, Jay. Welcome to Primetime.
Go Mets.
Ooh.
Right? Did I say that right?
That's all right. You did it off air. You did it on air. Are you done? Are you good with that at this point? I'm going to have to go grab a hat.
You're from New York. I figured I'd wear a New York hat.
Stop.
Oh.
Just host. You're really good at hosting.
Oh, okay, fine. Ian, we're so stoked to have you guys. Ian, singer-songwriter. He was on season what of The Voice? It was
19.
Season 19 of NBC's The Voice on Team Blake. What? We're going to get into that in a minute. We're super stoked to have you here. The title of tonight's show is Finding Your Voice. Listen to Ian speak. Did you hear that? He's got this okay, but your vocal is like, let's be real, whiskey soaked. I think I've seen some descriptions here. Whiskey soaked. It's got so much soul. It's got so much drive. Man, we're going to get into that vocal in a minute. I'm pretty stoked. Maybe we'll have.
Thank you, man.
Hold on real quick. Sidebar. Mike, Andy, should we have Ian sing a song in a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
My vote is thumbs up.
All right, cool. Ian, welcome to the show. We are stoked to have you here. Welcome back, everybody. Yes. Jay's hat is back, and for Mike V, I'm wearing a Mets hat.
I don't even know.
I got an email that you love the Mets as well. So
yeah.
All right, so we're all gonna have a problem. I thought we were gonna be friends. I mean, Ian, both you and I are from New York, but that's we're done. Before
I know.
You know?
All right, fine. Fine. You know what I do have though? I was thinking we could start a new segment called What's in Jay's Pockets. My wife calls me Johnny Pockets. And because pockets, they're a place to keep things and put things when you're done. So earlier I found a pen in my pocket. I found a USB-C cable. I'll charge something. An iPhone cable. This legit in my pocket. And Roger's poo bags.
Hey, that's where I left them.
That's responsible of you.
What's in Jay's pockets? Cubs are up big. Oh, Ian, we try and turn this into a sports podcast all the time, but it is not. It is a guitar nerd talk show, and we're stoked to have you. Mikey V, how are you doing?
I am exceptional. I
Really?
feel wonderful. I am here with 3 wonderful people in Jay. And it's really nice to be back. Thank you for inviting me back. And it's good to see everybody in the chat going nuts already, which is always fun. I've been called Mikey V Class. That's yes, because I am all about class.
Mikey
And I
V
appreciate
Class.
that. Yeah.
Mikey
Thank
V
you, Eric.
Class bracing.
But it's
That's a good
great to be back. And Ian, it's wonderful to meet you and hearing your material before we came on today. I was like, yeah, I can never do that. So
I know.
Great to meet you guys.
You guys don't do it during the show, but maybe he'll sing it. Maybe he'll sing new stuff. But he's got a single featuring Blake Shelton called Grow Up. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. Go check it out. It's great. Andy Lund.
Jay, I just had an idea.
What?
It goes like this. Johnny Pockets, what's in your pants?
Let's do it. Fingernail clippers.
Nice.
I got it. Hold on.
are
There's
you
more.
pitching? Like, are you a knuckleballer? You got like an emery board in there too?
It's key. It's a key with like a USB guy in there in case I need to transfer some files real quick. like Jack Bauer, right? Like 24, like Chloe, I need a USB stick. My wallet. There's got to be stuff. Oh yeah. There's more. This is really happening. Earplugs. You always got to have earplugs. You
Nice.
never know when you're going to be at a show.
And you're not wearing cargo pants either. These are
That's
just
what I
like
was thinking.
standard
These are standard
4-pocket
jeans.
pants, 4-pocket jeans.
Yeah, it's a bad look. My wife, she laughs quite often. I sent her this one earlier and said, Johnny Pockets. Well, John said, as long as the bags are empty, you're cool, Jay. All right,
Truth.
they're empty. All right, guys. All
That's
right,
true.
let's keep going. Andy Lund, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well,
That's
Jay.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Where are you, Andy Lund?
Tonight I'm in the Northwoods, and it's nice up here. It's been
Yeah.
nice lately. No springtime, straight to summer.
No springtime, straight
Nope.
to summer.
Yeah.
Boat season in the
Boat
Northwoods.
season. Boats are going in. Yes.
Would you be a pontoon boat guy or a ski boat guy if you
You
were
know,
a boat guy?
I'm at a weird spot right now because I would have said ski boat forever, and now I'm thinking, the pontoon thing is kind of cool too. The problem is you need all of them. It's kind of like guitars.
Let's ask the question, Ian.
need
If
a
you were
kayak, you need a canoe, you need a speedboat, you need a fishing boat, and a pontoon.
That's true.
so it'd be all of boats guy. So Ian, would you be a speedboat or a pontoon boat guy if you only had to pick one?
Oh, I'd be a pontoon boat, man, these days. My dad was a sailor, though, so he'd be mad at me.
Really?
But, yeah, he's a big sailboat guy. No engines, really. But I'm all about the pontoon boat. Fishing and picking.
And you could have a full-on show and just float around a boat.
That's it. I have a buddy down in North Carolina. Actually, he does a ton of lake party performances, and that's what they do. They just kind of float along, and he plays, and it's awesome.
In Maine, you need a truck, a dog, and a shed.
That's
Carl.
right.
In
You're
Maine, they have
awesome.
about 3 weeks of boating season. So
Yeah.
Tri-tune. What the heck is a tri-tune boat?
I think it's a pontoon with 3
Tri-tunes?
with 3 songs.
Three
That's
songs.
it. That
Yeah,
you
it's
can play on
harmony.
the pontoon. Yeah. It makes a 5th chord.
Yeah, it's dissonant.
Wow. So when we get into the diminished 7th chord later, well, okay. All right, let's keep moving. You guys, welcome back to the show. You know the deal. Let's keep the feed clean. Politics and all that kind of stuff. Let's keep it out of this thing. Let's just keep the nerd and guitar nerd and keep on going. We will have Evan's Q at the end of the night. Evan's question is, Ian, our version of trivia where we give stuff away at the end, right?
Oh, nice.
And tonight we're going to give away some strings because it's string changing time. We're going to give away some strings, some cleaner, a tuner, and some other stuff. But you'll get a nice little gift pack, so it'll be fun.
Oh, man.
Okay, so Lund, we got zero hate, kind of. he maybe got a little hate last week. Ian, we have a segment called Hug Your Haters. That is if we get some hate. Apparently someone was watching the show last week, and I think they were new to the show and they didn't realize it was a talk show.
Oh,
yeah,
they had a lot of hate. Who were they hating on, or just
they
entirely Taylor talk shows?
They hated the fact that we didn't play guitar the whole time.
Oh, they wanted like demos. The full,
the whole like show. They wanted nothing but guitar. I don't think we need a song unless you're super like, I got to play a song. I don't know if we do. We could just do like a virtual high five and be like, dude, we love you. It's a guitar show. This platform is not made for everybody, and we are well aware of that. But yeah.
I think that's what we do, you know.
Yeah.
We've already sung songs about that before.
Okay, cool.
We need to update that, you know, periodically. Maybe.
All right.
Sure.
We love you.
At our next production meeting for this show, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Hater comments already?
So what was the hater hating on?
I don't know.
Just you guys.
Usually they say, "Come on, why do we talk about baseball? Why are you guys talking about different hats in New York City?" We thought this was a guitar show.
Gotcha.
And we kind of just we get to it eventually, but you
know. We got another one. First time here, expecting stuff about guitars.
There you go. Okay.
I got it, Randy. We got a lot of stuff coming about guitars. This is an artist episode, so we're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about Ian's career. We're going to talk about the guitars he uses. He's going to play guitars for a little bit. But that's what this episode is about. We love you, Randy. If you don't want to stick around, we totally understand.
Love you,
All
Randy.
Right. All right, here we go. Let's go on to this next segment we call What Are You Listening To? Do you have a song, Mr. Lund?
Yeah, got one for that.
Did you turn up the bass? Did it shake your whole place? Did it come as surprise? Or put tears in your eyes? What's new? What's new? What are you listening to? What did you listen to?
Amazing. Ian, we are all inspired by music that we are listening to. What have you been listening to lately that has inspired you?
Oh, man. Okay, well, you know, there's always classic songs that you listen to, but for me, I think I spend a lot of time. I'm a YouTube guitarist guy. Like I get lost in the woods. You guys know True Fire?
Yeah.
It's like this online. So I got that. I got the whole thing. I've been doing that for like a year now. Right now I've been doing one of Tommy Manuel's classes, and then I'm doing one of Andy Wood's guitar classes and mandolin class. So like I'm kind of on that tip right now, basically just trying to get my scales and theory up. And every time I do one 20-minute lesson on any theory, there's like a whole new 10 songs inside of that, you know. Otherwise, I've been listening to a lot of Jason Isbell. My buddy, I got a co-write with Jake Hoot soon, who's a fellow voice friend. And so I've been listening to some of his new stuff that came out. It's really great. I listen to a lot of my friends' music, and feel really fortunate to do that.
Yeah, that's so good. Theory. He said the word.
He
said the nerdiest guitar thing ever. Theory.
Yeah, it's awesome though.
Oh,
getting there.
You get lost. Do you guys get lost, Mike, Andy? Do you guys go into that world of like, I don't know this, I'm gonna go find out how to do it with guitar? I mean, you've been playing forever.
Yeah, I don't think the theory is nerdy, Jay. I would disagree with that. I think it's theoretical. I think it's like a
good nerd.
Yeah.
Healthy nerd.
But not like, you know, let's boil our strings to a certain temperature to get the tone back in the bass. That's nerdy, right? So, but music theory is a legitimate science. Like, it's been around for a long time. It makes sense. I get lost on some of that stuff. I was fortunate enough to study music theory when I was in school, so I know a little bit about it. But so for me, when I go down the rabbit holes, it's more about like just. The thing I like most about YouTube, I think, is just like hearing performances that you've never heard before. I was watching some acoustics, Queens of the Stone Age stuff today that was just super raw, stripped down, and it was just like, man, a good song is a good song. Doesn't matter how produced it is, you know. And
I think we should change this segment real quick and go, what are you listening to or watching on YouTube?
There you go.
So there we go. Okay, so that's what you're doing. Because
I
we
just
all
watched
do
like 50 minutes of Joe Bonamassa last night, and it was just like one random concert, and then I feel like I have to go study something, so I don't really get to listen to full records without having to go search why.
I would agree. I would agree with Lund. That YouTube is like, I sink my nerdiness into performances I hadn't known happened, or I watched like, I got into a big, like, I was listening to Rush Moving Pictures this week, and then I was like, oh, YouTube. And so then I just did a weird random deep dive into like Rush performances and like Neil drum solo stuff, and like, how did he do that? And then, you know, he'll do one drum solo with like a billion piece drum kit, and then he'll do the same drum solo with like a 5-piece. And like, RIP, I miss him. But anyway, that's what I've been watching. Nerdy Rush shows that I hadn't seen in years. Mike, awesome. What are you watching on YouTube?
Me usually. I watch videos I've done. I'm like, wow, I stink at this. Now, like, I'm not ashamed to say when like I try to go down the theory wormhole, I do get lost, mainly because I just can't grasp it. I'm like watching, like, you know, Guthrie Govan, and like he's doing this thing. I'm like, oh, and he's saying, I play in E demolished and Asia minor, and like what are all these and just forget it. I can't play like you. Just show me a D sustain, like, you know, like I know my limitations. I try to go outside of them every once in a while, usually when I listen to Rush, and I'm like, all right, I got to learn that Lifeson solo like now. And I just sit there and I do it old fashioned way. I just rewind and play it slower and just, but the theory behind it is completely lost on me. Not because it's not valuable, because once in a while I'll like surprise myself, be like, oh, that's an A7th, you know, whatever. Like make up some chord that sounds like really intelligent, and once in a while I'll get it, and I'll be like, I knew that. How did that happen? So yeah, I mean, what I'm listening to is my futility in theory. That's what I'm listening to.
Same.
I agree, Philip. Watched the Behind the Music episode about Bonnie Raitt as well. Holy smokes, Bonnie Raitt.
I haven't seen it yet.
Let me tell you a story about Bonnie Raitt. I saw her once from like 15 feet away and almost panicked and fainted. Bonnie Raitt. How do you feel about Bonnie Raitt? Jay?
Did she throw a slide at you?
No, she didn't. But let me tell you, I was like, oh my goodness, that's Bonnie Raitt. And that was it. And then I was a little bit like shaking in my boots. Anyway, awesome. Okay, so that segment's done. Ian, let's get into Ian. Let's have a discussion. How's that?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
So again, let me remind you, if you're just joining us, Ian Flanigan here, singer, songwriter, guitarist, guitar nerd. I'm going to slide one in there. Instrument builder?
For about 8 years, I was a luthier and doing a couple repairs on the side, but it's been a while now. I don't know if I can wear that badge of honor anymore.
But you did. You have experience building instruments for Spectre, right?
Yeah, Spectre Bass in Woodstock, New York. I worked there for 7 years. It was pretty much the only job that would put up with me leaving for a month or two at a time to go do the artist thing. And then they always had a job waiting for me my entire 20s. That was like where I was. They were great.
So
I made the American series.
We'll get into where you're from in a little bit. Let's continue this. So you're a celebrated NBC's The Voice finalist. You were in the top 3 in season 19, Team Blake. We'll get into that in a little bit. We're super excited, but give us a little bit of a background. I ask this question to every guest that we have, and that is, who the heck are you and what the heck do you do?
Man, I'm pretty simple. I'm Ian Flanigan, and really, out of all of it, I'm just a songwriter. I love guitar because it's just palettes. It's never ending. And like we were just talking about theory, I think moving to Nashville, where I live now, has required me to really up my theory game so I can communicate better in studios. But really, I'm just a songwriter, and I feel like a newbie on guitar all the time just because it's a never-ending ocean. So I'm just really, really trying to be a producer and the best songwriter I can be, and a dad. I'm out here with my my girls, my fiance, and my stepdaughter. So really, I just spend all my days making music, being a dad, family, and music, man. That's it.
That is spectacular. I read an article about you, and there was a couple of quotes in there that were great. And I'm going to butcher this one quote, but it was something like, when you do something you're passionate about, it's hard work or much harder or something like that. And would you still feel that way? I mean, you do what you love.
I do. I mean, I feel so, here's the thing. I started touring when I was 17. I moved down to Orlando, Florida. And the way that I was taught how you tour is you travel with a PA system, you play in a state for a year, and then you move to the next town, county, or state, and you do that till you die. And that was like MySpace days. And, about 3 years, I mean, I did that for about 10 years. And I had really not even thought about having like a commercial music career. I was very grassroots. I was in the folk scene, traveling to songwriter festivals across the country with my family when we had started living out of a 24-foot Winnebago. So to be able to sit in a house now where I'm, a songwriter professionally and putting out records and touring, all I am, man, is grateful. That's it. I know the other side of it, and I know the grind. So, I'm just grateful to be doing it.
You're totally living the dream.
Yeah, man, for sure.
This is the definition of living the dream. All right. So how's this? Ian, you want to play us a song real quick?
Sure. You know what? I have not played this song
ever. That would be awesome.
Ever, actually.
He's writing it as he plays.
Yeah, I'm going to make it up. I'm going to plug it in because I don't know how my system is over here. But this is a song that I have a new record coming out in the fall, and I'll play you another single that's coming out next month. But I really love this song, and I haven't gotten to play it out for anyone yet. So this is for you guys tonight. It's a song called Strong. It's just about celebrating the woman that puts up with you in your life. Used to be a double whiskey in a glass. Used to be a 350 gunning fast. Used to be the will of a young man all alone against the world. Used to be a whole lot of things up until the day I met you, girl. Now I know strong is a woman who could love me like you do. Put up with the things I put you through. Let me be the man I wanna be. Stubborn, foolish, wild and free. After all the crazy things I've done, after every chance you've had to run, still right by my side even when I'm wrong. 'Cause of you, baby, now I know strong. When I see your smile, I can't believe I never wore my heart out on my sleeve. I Used to think I was supposed to hide all the love I got behind the wall. Didn't know a damn thing at all. Strong is a woman who can love me like you do. Put up with the things I put you through. Let me be the man I wanna be. Stubborn, foolish, wild and free. After all the crazy things I've done, after every chance you had to run, still right by my side when I'm wrong. 'Cause of you, baby, now I know. Strong is the way you lift me up when the nights are long and the days are tough. It all goes away with a single touch. Strong is a woman who can love me like you do. Put up with the things I put you through. Let me be the man I wanna be. Stubborn, foolish, wild and free. After all the crazy things I've done, after every chance you had to run, still right by my side when I'm wrong. 'Cause of you, baby, now I know. Strong. Now I know. Strong. Now I know. Now I know. 'Cause of you, baby, now I know. Strong.
Oh,
That was great.
that was fantastic. Hey, Mom, his name's Ian Flanigan. I'll get you all the music. My mother watches the show religiously.
Oh, hey, Ma.
And that right there is going to be her. Exactly, Bill. I'm hooked. Yep. Gabriel even wrote something. He doesn't like anything. Man.
Oh,
That was
man.
incredible.
Well, thank you. That's actually a song. I had written I wrote about 15 songs this past 6 months when we were cutting the record, and I heard that song. And I'm a songwriter in Nashville, and that song was written by Mark Irwin, Chris Gelbuta, and Jason Duke. And I loved that song so much, and it said what I wanted to say out of like 2 of the songs that I had, that I actually put it on and cut it, because I don't know. You ever hear a song that you're just like, man, that's just one of the best songs I've heard in such a long time. And I don't know, that one really spoke to me. So I'm glad you guys like it.
That is awesome. See this? I don't know if you can see the screen there, Ian. This is a compliment you can't beat. I like it. I'd learn it.
Oh, man.
That right there.
Rob.
There you go.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you.
Wow. Anyway, how do we follow that with a bunch of questions and a bunch of jibber jabber? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to follow it. And hopefully we'll get Ian to play again. So Ian, we next have a little segment before we get into the main discussion of, sometimes we call them useless questions.
Perfect.
Sometimes we call them useful questions. These are leaning a little bit more onto the useful question side, with some that might be a little useless. So we're going to start with one that's totally useless, but it'll kind of get everybody familiar with you. So Ian, what is your favorite color?
Oh, turquoise.
Yes. Oh,
That was the right answer.
that's the right
Nice.
answer.
That
See, there
was
are
the
a
right
few
answer,
people.
yes.
I'm writing that down. Turquoise.
Write it down, man. That's the
All
best
right,
one.
turquoise. I love it. Okay. This one's a little bit more useful. Alive or dead, who is an artist you would like to collaborate with, who you haven't collaborated with already?
I gotta say, Tommy Emmanuel. I really want to do something different and make it. I want to make some like really pop fusion country music with him. Really badly.
Dude, could you hear Ian's vocal with Tommy Emmanuel playing guitar?
I think we would have a good time. So I don't. Does he watch this? Come on, Tommy. I love.
I
him, man.
know.
Yeah.
He definitely.
He's a
Well-
regular viewer, from what I understand.
Oh
He's
my
in
gosh.
fact-
Well, I can't really keep up, but like I'm trying to just hang out next to him.
Everybody
That's it.
watches this.
Oh man.
Maybe not live, but everybody watches it at some point.
Eventually.
We're infectious. You know what
Yes.
I mean? All right. Okay. I just made up word. You know what I mean? That's the kind of the kind of show where
Infectious
you
is
just
good.
make
That's yeah.
infectious. We
At
made
the
that
end
up.
of the show, Jay invents a number.
Nice.
No, I don't invent numbers, but words for sure. And then like infectious. Last week
Infectious.
was
I
what
believe
was it? What was Andy's word last week?
Did I make up a word? Oh no, Andy Powers.
No, Andy Powers. Not it wasn't made up, but
It was. It was.
Gabe, I'm
was it
already
what I knew.
yeah. Andy, we had our master designer on last week, Ian, and he was a nerd.
Oh
He's
yeah.
so great.
And
I'll
he's
think of it in
the
a second.
designer of what? Of the Taylors?
Yeah, he's the guy who's like.
Did he
he's the
invent
guy
the
who, like,
V-brace? Is
taps?
he the?
He taps
Yes,
on the
he
tops, and
did.
he's like, "Ooh, I hear the ocean." in
Ah,
that."
yes, yeah, he's like Cedar.
He's
There's a
amazing.
220K range. Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. He's amazing.
That's awesome.
Okay, which band, past or present, that has ever existed would you wish you were a part of?
Man,
Vector Force. That's it. Oh, that's right. We named a band Vector Force.
oh, that's
Infectious.
nice. You know,
Vector Force first album is called Infectious.
I like I like that. That's proggy. That's a little proggy right
That's
there.
pretty foggy.
Oh man. You know, I think that like I always wanted to be in the Eagles, and I always wanted to have a really cool like tenor rock voice, and I just don't. And they were the first band that I was like, man, I want to sing Hotel California. Like that was one of the first acoustic intros. Everybody's like, wow, you know, and I just can't. And I think that that was a dream when I was a kid. Otherwise, I think I'd always be rolling around with like random Texas songwriters like Blaze Foley and just rolling around with those dudes. But I don't know. It's a tough question, man.
Are you familiar with an artist by the name of William Elliott Whitmore?
Name sounds familiar, but my mind is so mashed up right now with music.
William Elliott Whitmore.
I'll write it down though.
You guys together sharing a stage would be
I would love
absolutely incredible. I worked in record distribution for a while, and I did a thing where I flew William out to the Universal office in Burbank, and I had him play to like 75 people in a boardroom.
Oh, that's awesome.
And his voice was just so, and he plays banjo. Like look him up. You'd love him.
I will. I'll look him up right after this.
He's spectacular. What was the first song you learned to play front to back? Now, often we learn, like I learned the guitar lead in Metallica's One, but I didn't know the whole song. What was the first song you learned?
Oh man, I think it was Green Day. What was that song? I don't know. First time of my life.
Oh yeah.
That was
another
the first
turning point.
Another turning point, fork stuck in the road. Yeah, I love Green Day. Well, I remember my parents wouldn't let me listen to it when I was a kid, and my buddy had a Dookie record, and that was like the first song I learned ever.
Oh, that's fantastic, Dookie. All right, and last but not least, what's the best piece of advice another musician ever gave you?
Oh man, you know, I gotta say, one of the things, sometimes it's little things that change your life, but like when I was working at Spectre, one of the best guitar players on the earth was the guy named Jimmy Eppard, and I worked with him for years, and I always really looked up to him. And he would always do like the final tests and all the electronics, and he would do all the wiring of every instrument. And you know, he was telling me one day we were outside, and he's just like, "Man, music, it's all about the story." He's like, just like the life story, you know, and it changed my perspective, you know, where it was, you know, you can sit inside and you can just shred and woodshed forever, but you gotta, you know, it's about living the story and following that dream. And he was on the road for, I think, like 20 some years, and you know, he was that guy, and I just really took that to heart, and you know, it eventually solidified into me kind of making my own story happen no matter what, you know. But that was it. Like that music in general is about the story that you make of it.
That's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, I guess it has to make sense to you if it makes sense, if it makes sense, I guess.
Wow. Then let's dive into your story, because I think that your story is pretty cool. We might jump around, but we don't need to talk about when you were this big. We'll talk about when you were a little older. You were on The Voice.
Yeah.
You were on The Voice in the middle of a pandemic, like early pandemic too. It was like 2020.
Right on. Yeah, right in the beginning.
Season 19, and it was right when TV shows were starting to figure out a way to do these productions. Tell us about that experience. What was I mean, it wasn't normal, right? You weren't playing in front of hundreds of people or thousands of people. You were playing to a bunch
Yeah.
of people on TV screens.
Yeah, I've never been on another show. I didn't know I was going to be. We were on a tail end of our own tour, and my fiance, my stepdaughter, and I were living in Winnebago, and we were just traveling full time, and we had been on the road for about 8 months. And that was pandemic hit. And my last show in Nashville was at the Mercy Lounge, and that's where I got scouted out to be an alternate, I guess, for the show in case somebody got sick. They have some people that come in and play or whatever. And when I got there, I ended up auditioning a blind audition, and it was just as random as that. Like we had to quarantine so much that I don't really know what other people go through. I think we quarantined for a solid month when we got there, and then the way they put it was like if somebody on the crew, and it's like 1,000 people working this thing, this is like an army of humans that make these kinds of things come together, as I'm sure you've seen and know. And they're like, if one person gets sick, the whole show's done. So like the level of quarantining and how professional they were with all their masks and it was crazy. It was like a science, like I don't even know what you'd call it, like a laboratory everywhere you go. But yeah, there was no audience. There was probably a few hundred Zoom calls like what we're looking at right here, except hundreds of them on a wall. And then just the coaches, like we were there with Blake, Gwen, Kelly, and John Legend from my season. So they were right there. And then you got about 100 crew working around you. And it's very quiet. And then the band is extremely loud, but there is no there wasn't really any interaction from the crowd. That stuff was recorded from the people's computers and stuff. So we were just out there singing. It was interesting.
So were the coaches, were they in the room with you?
Yeah, they were about 20 feet away. So
really,
yeah, and it's a big stage, but it's not as cameras are crazy. Like it's big, but you're still right there. Like you see them, you're with a bunch of people. And backstage, you're still with all the contestants, but you're quarantined by taped out squares. It's crazy, man. And we didn't get to interact the same way. But to be honest, there wasn't a single person there that hadn't lost every single show they had booked for about a year. So we didn't care. We were just like, man, this is the best gig in America. We had the best gig in America at the time. It was crazy, crazy fortunate.
And I'm sure you met really interesting people and have forged really great relationships from that.
Yeah, some of my best friends still, it was awesome. I mean, things loosened up towards the end. Like as the further you go in the show, it's just less people to kind of watch out for. When it's like 100 people, that's a lot for people to kind of quarantine and wrangle around. But when it's, 8 of you or 10 or so, it's pretty chill at that point. But yeah, good friends. I mean, those are kind of those, for me, I've been moving since the show, and it's kind of crazy now that it's over. Like I still feel like I've, it hasn't been that long, but we've been just hustling this whole time, and it has been almost 2 years, I guess. So you meet some good friends though. It's
so great. We have, a bunch of questions. So, one that Mike and I were talking to earlier, the public seemed to really like you. We talked about how you got the instant save from the public. Will you explain?
I did, yeah.
Will you explain how all that worked?
Oh yeah. So I got saved. I did I don't know. I didn't think it was good. I have never performed without a guitar. I'm a songwriter. I sing and I play guitar, but really they have to all be together at one time for me to be what I'm doing. So I get there, and if you're in the bottom 4, you got to sing to be Saved by America. And I had my save song ready. I was prepared. I was singing Anymore by Travis Tritt. And I get up there, I'm in the bottom, and they're like, hey guys, we have an extra commercial or whatever. There's going to be no instruments. You're going to have to all sing a cappella. And like my heart just dropped because that's never a good thing. And it's on TV. So I had a extremely uncomfortable moment after the cameras were off. Blake was like, can we make sure Ian never has to play without a guitar again? And I got saved. So I don't know. I guess it either went all right or they just felt so bad they had to push me through to get a second chance.
I think it's fantastic. I think that
funny,
it proves that you've got talent and that people were pulling for you, and your voice is different, man.
It's its thing, I don't really know. The funny thing is, like, you live with yourself and your own music since the day you're born, and you don't really know anything else because you're in your brain, but whatever. And especially with that show, we're not watching it. I still haven't actually seen I still haven't even seen it yet, but you go from the stage directly to a hotel room like we are right now, like nobody's there. So you kind of have a disconnected concept of what's going on. And I wasn't really into counting the YouTube stuff, or like I didn't get into it. I just kind of just did my thing. So I was really disconnected from it. But yeah, looking back, it was so much love and so much support. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular. So I have a question. If you weren't doing music for your career, what else would you be doing?
Well, I guess I would have to go back to Spectre and see if they'd hire me again. Probably not. I really wasn't the best employee anyway, but I'd probably do carpentry or do more. I used to do a lot of labor jobs, and I really do miss I miss some of it sometimes. I like working out in the woods and just building stuff, carpentry, cutting trees, something like that.
Well,
but nothing crazy.
We're happy that you're doing music.
Well, thanks, man. Me too.
Your instrument building career, if you want, I know a place in San Diego that might be interested in somebody who knows a thing or two about building guitars. Just
hey, man, I'll be in San Diego on the 28th, so I'll come hang out with you guys.
Be in San Diego on the 28th. Okay, so you're initially from upstate New York and now Nashville. So you're kind of, let's piece together this journey on how you got there. I mean, Woodstock, you're from Woodstock. It's where Mike and I were talking about it earlier. It's like Woodstock. It's where people went, they partied and watched a big, huge concert, and then they just stayed there and made music. They
never left.
Big in a super creative area, right? Big in Americana and folk scene. But you made it to Nashville. Was that by design, or was that by accident, or was that Blake's? Can we blame Blake?
We can blame Blake a little bit, but to be honest, I really don't push against natural developing relationships and things like that. Was the whole reason I've done music. Like I'm down for the journey. I like the adventure. If Nashville didn't work out in a year, I'd be just as happy wherever I go. I'm just going to make the same music and follow whatever comes. The opportunities, you kind of have to just go where the opportunity is. And to be honest, coming from Saugerties, New York, we're like right next to Woodstock. Like it's the same town, but there's so much music and so many heady music theory people and big hitters that were super famous, and the bar is set so high that it pushed me into this like little isolating creative thing where I could just be myself, because you can't be them. You have to just focus on your authenticity and just be yourself and try to pull out something no one's done. Like that's always been my goal, is just be something nobody else is. I don't care if it's that great. And that's what led my family and I to traveling full time. Like we come from an area like Woodstock and Saugerties where, like when I told my parents, I was like, hey, we're going to go live in this van and raise a kid on the road. Everybody was like, that's so awesome. Like we didn't get any push, and support is really what makes people. It doesn't have to be financial. It can be just supporting somebody's crazy choices, and saying like, that's going to be great. You're going to have an awesome time. And that's the kind of place I come from. And I got to say, that's what brought me to The Voice. And after that, signing a publishing deal and being like a songwriter, I was going to be moving to Texas probably because I really love the live music scene, the whole state. It's really, I was just there this past weekend. It's amazing. But Nashville is definitely like hands down. You want to write music and learn to be the best around the best and co-write 1,000 times a week if you want, is definitely here. So I love being here.
What do you know about the music scene in Woodstock, Mike?
What do I know about it?
Yeah, I mean, you're from New York.
I am, but I'm from Long Island, which it may as well be the moon compared to Woodstock.
Yeah, well, you guys got a good rock scene though, right?
We do, and up in Saugerties and Woodstock, a very big Americana and folk scene. I mean, music from the Big Pink was written there.
Yeah.
And the Basement Tapes.
I think my buddy's living in the Big Pink right now.
Oh, we're in the house?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. Well, there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, they're just renting it.
And it was funny because you mentioned it, one of the questions I was going to ask is, did you find it difficult, growing up with that rich history around you? Like, how did you differentiate yourself? But you said it like you need to do something different to separate yourself and make you stick out from that rich history. I mean, like I think I was reading in an article, like you were like within a stone's throw of Levon Helm's studio.
Yeah.
I think, I was like raised probably like 4 miles from it. So, it's one of those things where like my buddies, they ran sound there, or like Justin Gwip, he produced one of my first records, and he's the guy that was with Levon doing the Dirt Farmer stuff. And like, you can kind of, just to be around those people have really shaped me. And I was never really in a scene where I was touring with all these people. I just tried my best to make a career out of it. And the thing that got me is I didn't realize how out in the woods we were and how few opportunities were really there. Like that's the one thing I wish I could go back and tell myself, like going back up there, it's just like winter is not cool for music. Like all the festivals are done. There's no shows. And I'm just sitting there like hauling lumber, being like, man, music, I got to go do more shows. There are no shows to be had. Like Woodstock is awesome, but winter's like 8 months long. You got to leave, So, but yeah, it's a heavy hitting scene. All my friends up there, very artistic in their thinking ways, and that's, I do love and appreciate that.
Yeah, you saw Phil put Woodstock is an art town. And if you've ever been through Woodstock, I would agree. But you guys
get tie-dye all over you. It's good.
Awesome. So, Mike, you got any more questions?
I was going to ask a follow-up to that, actually.
No, you can't ask a follow-up, though.
You know what? You're wearing a Mets hat. I can do what I want. Okay?
All right, go ahead.
So following up on the whole, geographical, part of your career, starting off in Woodstock and what have you, with all that heady stuff around it. I also saw you're headlining the Ulster County Fair.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pumped, man.
So, I mean, obviously you've played in your own hometown as you were performing and what have you, but what's it going to be like? Like you got the butterflies going already, like headlining a big fair like this?
Oh yeah, man. I don't know. I just love my hometown. Like I really do. I don't ever feel nervous going back there. I mean, believe me, I'm like 6 years sober, raising a kid, been living out in the parking lots for years. Like if anything, I'm just like happy to hang out, go back home. It's the easiest, funnest times right now. I just have fun, man. It's I feel so honored to be able to go play these things. I grew up looking at the billboards, like driving to work and like being driven with my parents, like seeing these billboards of these things, having no clue how to even, open up in the ticket line, like playing at the side, that's what I was doing. And now to be headlining this stuff, like, yeah, man, it's crazy. Sometimes I got to just slow down and just be like, wow, things really have changed. So yes, I'm not nervous as much as I'm anxious to get back home and hang out with everybody.
Well, let's talk about finding your voice. Let's go right there.
There you go.
We at least have to have like 1 or 2 questions in here about the subject line, right? May have been a little bit of a play on words. Ian. Oh, so Gabe just throws a question up. Fine. Let's go with this. Rob has a good question. Ian, how is it that you can come up with the songs that you write?
Well, there's like 3 different styles I do it now, but a lot of times is I just try to find a vibe with, the instrument and be like, if you don't have lyrics, I have a whole strategy where I believe you can force inspiration in any way. And a lot of it is just coming up with an energy and a vibe and a pattern of some kind that you can just get one line to. Just make one line, put it down. And if another line doesn't come, it will tomorrow, you know. But really, I just try to have mini movies, like tiny little movies, and try to make that all happen and have that chorus hit before 30 seconds. Just kidding. You got to do what is natural.
So your process to writing, do you write with guitar first, or are you vocally driven, lyrically driven?
So I do a lot of country. My style of country naturally that I do is a little long-winded for radio necessarily, but I like the mixture. I'm really working on my production style, and I really love the art of like writing for radio and writing pop music, because you get to put all the influences you want in it. But for me now, I'm trying to think as a producer more than a guitar player. For the first so many years of my life, I only had my guitar, so I was really busy. And then, you know, when you're that busy supporting yourself all the time and you're pulling out the bass and all the melodic stuff too, it doesn't necessarily translate into the final recorded project, because you might have 10 instruments in there and you can't be doing all that stuff at it. And, you know, just sonically spacing everything out for every instrument to kind of have its place in the wall of sound. And so now I'm trying to think a little bit more vocally, harmonically, a little more melodic vocal hooks more than I am trying to lead. It's more my own process. I don't know if this is making any sense, but I'm currently working on trying to not be so guitar first, and then I get to bring it in after. And that's been helping me get inspired more.
So with that, you know, you have, you know, that nice baritone, you know, but it's a raspy baritone, you know, and that's
Whiskey soaked.
Whiskey soaked. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
I can tell you one thing though, it is,
you know.
I appreciate that. That is a thing with arrangement though. I can't have a lot of low end stuff in the mix, because I'm right there in that low mid. So it was a pain for me growing up to figure out how to make a record, because like a tenor voice or soprano and going up, you just sit over top of any mix. I've always been super jealous of that.
So how did you develop to use that complex tonality to your advantage?
You know, I'll be really honest, because you never know who's listening that might need to hear this side of it. I don't think I did. You know, I didn't think that I actually was a great vocalist right now. It's not, I'm not even trying to I'm not bashing myself, because I think that I can, you know, sing and tell a story. But before the voice, I did not put myself as a vocalist. Like I was like, I'm a songwriter. Really? Like, yeah, I was not trying to be like a singer. I was trying to be like a songwriter and like an artist. Like I looked up to, like at that time, like Chris Stapleton and Jason Isbell were obviously like my heroes, but it just didn't, like even halfway through the show, The Voice, I was like, I don't know what's going on here. But so I think I've honestly found it in the last year, and I'm 32 now. So I guess I've just been wandering around for like 3 decades, figuring it out, but I appreciate that. And I don't know, I think I'm finding it every day, kind of just figuring it out. And I've had a lot of help from like really amazing, like Grammy award winning producers like Craig Alvin, who's, you know, helping produce, mix this record. And what you can learn just sitting quietly on a couch in a session with some of these guys, that's what I'm all about, man. Like that's like once in a lifetime stuff. And that's where you really learn. I didn't really know. I was just writing songs.
We got a couple of questions from the feed here. I'm going to post real quick. Guitar Dog, how many chords do you need for you to feel like you've got something?
Well, 3 chords in the truth around here, but honestly, you could do it with 2. You know, I think like whatever you can play, you just hold a G chord and just speak. That's a song, man. It's like whatever makes you feel something is something. That's like my entire theory in life. If it sounds good, it is good. Don't overthink it. And if you make somebody feel something, that's the whole thing. That's it.
That's what I've been trying to say recently. We actually had a guest, Daria Muska, a good friend of ours, on the show, and we talked about this moment of, if you're doing it, you're great.
That's it.
I've seen something in here. I saw Philip wrote something, I don't need to find my voice. I need to find a better voice. You got a voice, man.
I talk to people, and like, I'll say this, I don't want to get too into it because it's almost political, but like, social media, it does make it kind of competitive where like music, I'm an only child. Music was my only friend for years. And it was like, when I look back through life, it was like therapy, religion, it was everything in one way or another. It's like, I didn't go to a therapist, but I definitely did a lot of that stuff with music and guitar. And I think that sometimes people forget that it has nothing to do with anybody else. It's such a personal thing. Like, it does not have to be on YouTube. It does not have to be posted. It can be super private and sound terrible and make you feel awesome. That's the best part.
Yeah, and then the time that you were listening to those records, like you said, there was an absence of social media, and you didn't have any influence from anybody else. Only people who you wanted to talk to about it. You didn't have to like watch something on YouTube and then find a nasty comment like right after, because it didn't exist. You dropped the needle on the record, or you played your tapes, or you played your CDs, or whatever, and you let it wash over you, and you decided how it made you feel, and there was not that noise that's out there these days. And that's a really good point, man.
It's like this show, right, was created to just be a little bit of, it was like a little bit of a ray of light on a weird, dark, the country, the world just shut down time. So we started this show. It's the 73rd episode.
Yes.
I said this last week when we did episode 72. I didn't think we'd get past 13 because we had 13 episodes outlined, and that was about it. And we were going to go for it, and that was it. And honestly, the reason we come here are for being able to have these fun discussions with people like yourself, artists. We've had guitar builders on here. We've had, producers. We've had singer-songwriters. We've had shredders. We've had session guys. We've had, artists who have made it big, and then, they plateaued, and there's all these different people. But the reason we're here is to hang out and to give everybody a platform to just chill. And these folks that are watching, right? Like, they got a place to go. I'm not going to mention any names. I got an email from somebody who said, "Hey man, I just want you to know that Primetime got me through a pandemic divorce."
Wow.
And again, I don't need to name names. I don't know if they're active in the feed, but they're here, and they're here every time we do one of these shows. I know we've had people who have lost family members who show up for this. That's what music does. And the joke of having a segment called Hug Your Haters, it's kind of to poke fun at that.
Yeah.
We don't need to be in the comment section. We don't need to be in the comment section telling everybody they're bad. Guess what? Ian's amazing. Mike's amazing. Andy's amazing. He comes here every week and sings songs. I think that if you're doing it, I think you're great. There, we had a sidebar, but I want
100%, man. I love that.
I mean, you lived in a Winnebago, traveling around with your family, and you just got to play music. How amazing!
It's all perspective. That's the one thing I believe in.
Yeah.
Everything's perspective, man. You gotta have. I know a lot of rich people that are really unhappy, and I know a lot of broke people that are the happiest people. They're too happy.
Yeah,
but you're right, man. You're right.
I kind of grew up in that punk rock scene, and I have a pretty good friend. He sings in this band called Rancid. His name's Tim Armstrong. And Tim, it's really funny because it's always, you look at him and you're like, you have to imagine he's got quite a bit of money. Yeah. Right? He earns a lot. They've had a really successful career, and they do all these massive tours. But the more money, it seems he got more and more punk. Like, the more money he had, the crappier car he drove, and the more duct tape you would find on his Chuck Taylor. And it was just that thing for him. It was just like, who was it? I think it was. I'm going to quote Pitbull, as in Mr. 305.
Yeah.
I heard him in an interview recently say, "Someone once told me money can't buy happiness." Well, yeah, it can. You just got to give it away. And I heard that, and I was like, "That's how music makes us feel."
That's right.
Drop the needle on the record and experience that. That's great. Ian, you're great. This is awesome. Good conversation. Mike, remember earlier when we were talking about his picking style?
Yeah.
Will you ask that question?
I will, because you're one of those people that has a pick wherever you go. It's right here. And you have you do a lot of fingerstyle, you do strumming as well, but your style seems to be a bit percussive, a little right hand percussive on the strings. So there's a lot of people out there that are interested in playing in that kind of style. I'm just wondering how you develop to get that extra oomph when you're strumming without it being overly percussive or too woofy. That sometimes can happen when you use your fingers when you're playing.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to do any gear play. I'm like around all my gear right now, so it's funny. I've been like finding you guys
Plug
know.
away.
Like, okay, hold on actually. Like this is a really broke down pedal board that I had because my other pedal board is just too big right now. So I'm using this this is a Grace Felix, and the Alex is the 1 channel. This is a 2 channel, and this is obviously like we all know the Strymon stuff, but this guy has helped me actually like pull out that like really low 200 like killer terrible frequency that happens when you're doing like I don't even know what it is, but like that can be like a nightmare with piezos. So that's saved me a lot. But honestly, my guitar teacher, Chuck Masasi from Glasgow, New York, killer guitar player, gave me like a claw hammer right hand to start out because I couldn't hold a pick. The Eppard family in Kingston, New York, Joey Eppard, like a prog, I guess metal, we could say like prog metal acoustic. Super inspiring, one of the most inspiring guitar players in my life, and he's a local dude. Like those guys are just phenomenal. He's on in a different genre than me completely, but so much local stuff in my life gave me that. And then like through flamenco and trying to be a flamenco player for a while and that failing, and then finding guys like Tommy Emmanuel, which have like led me to attempting thumb picks. For me, it was just. I just didn't understand how funk guitar players played that, and I tried to mimic it. Because do you remember when Andy McKee first came out, like with drifting?
Yeah.
So there was him, and then there was a guy like Justin King, and then there was Khaki King, and they're like still doing their thing. But they were the first ones through like YouTube and that stuff that were doing this stuff, and I was probably like 16, 17, and that's when I was just like, figure this out. And I just spent years, and now I've kind of I think I use about 15% of it, but that's how you find your style, right? You go through 1,000 different rabbit holes, and then you come out with something that you use.
I would agree. Someone wrote this. Phil, of course, Phil's. We should have Phil on the show because he drops dimes all the time. Look at that.
Oh, yeah,
Tommy
Phil.
Emmanuel is a guitar god.
Yes, he is. He is.
Okay, let's talk about your Taylor because everybody wants to know.
Oh yeah.
First, you play an 814 CE. How did you first get involved with Taylor? How did you learn about Taylor? How did this all happen?
So I got a Taylor. My first Taylor I've probably been playing was an 814 CE. Actually, it's crazy. I'm sitting next to it. I just brought it back. It's like an old guitar. And
bring it. Show us.
Okay, let me show you. So I'm terrible because like when you live in, so I like rip all the electrics out. I know I'm terrible, but so I was blending, as you see, the Grace Felix. It's like do you know John Gom? Have you ever heard of him? John Gom is like an incredible. He's like a fingerstyle tapper guy, and I actually tried to mimic him. So I took out the electronics and I put in like a Fishman Aura. And then I put in a Fishman Rare Earth, and I was blending those. And one of those signals, like this right here, was actually all the wet signals, reverbs, and delay. And this was just a pure acoustic tone. And then I would swell in different things. And as you can see, this one is a little older, and it does not have the rounded edge.
Armrest. Yeah.
The armrest thing, man. Like, people are like, "Oh, does it work?" And like, it totally works. So this is the new 814. That's rounded. I have never made one of these, but they're super awesome. I just had mine crack a little bit, and that's really sad, but part of traveling. And this has the V-brace now. So apparently what we got, just extra sustain for days. But I actually have an LR bags in this, right in here, and I really love that. But yeah, man, the 814 is kind of my model. I think I'm probably going to get another one of like mahogany, because recording wise, you know, it's a little dark, and not fighting the baritone thing. Mahogany seems to kind of cut out that mid-low scoop in the EQ. But I just love the 814, man. I think it's there's no best, but for me, every time I pick one up, I'm like, that just feels right.
Do you like that shape? Do you like the cutaway, the Grand Auditorium with the cutaway?
I like the shape a lot with the cutaway because I play up there, but honestly, I like the weight, and I like the way the neck feels. Both these necks, this one is thicker, the old one, but I don't know. They both have the same kind of weight. It's just the right size guitar for me. Like a triple O Martin or a triple O body, really fun to hang out and jam with, but like on a stage, that's the weight that I need, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. I had someone, we've had some good compliments about guitars over the years, right? Taylor Stoop, they feel really great in your hands.
They do.
They do. That leads us to, I think it's time that before you guys get your questions ready, let's get your questions ready for Ian. But Ian, do you want to play another song?
Sure, I will. You know what? I was gonna play some. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll play some guitar-y, like a fun guitar country song that I wrote about my time in Georgia. I had I guess a troublesome few years, and my buddies and I just got into way too much trouble, but I could use a thumb pick on this one, maybe. I don't want.
That's an exciting noise.
Is that coming through all right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not endorsed, man. These are just Black Mountain thumb picks. I just got them in the mail. I'm excited. So this is a song called Devil in My Hands. I got to yell it, so if it breaks up, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm going to take off the distortion a little touch of it. Lord, does a man like me still got time to get my wings? What I've done ain't who I am. Angel on my shoulder and the devil in my hands. I can't lie, been on the run. I can't go back to where I'm from. It's 5 years waiting in a cold dark cell. Angel on my shoulder, save me from myself. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angels watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angel, not the devil in my hands. Women give me trouble, money do the same. There ain't enough whiskey to numb the pain. Heaven above me, hell below. I pray I'm walking on a righteous road. Hey, now, mama, please don't cry. See you next spring before July. Where I'm going too soon to tell. Angel on my shoulder, save me from myself. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angels watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angels and not the devil in my head. Yes, I know my soul is clean. Got the angels watching over me. I got to be a better man. Listen to the angels and not the devil in my hands. In my head.
Yeah.
Dude.
Thanks, man. I don't know if it distorted, but
No, dude, that
God,
sounded
dude.
so awesome.
oh, cool.
That was, I'm telling you, you got to check out William Elliott Whitmore.
Dude, I'm going to as soon as we do it.
So he plays banjo. Your vocals would like A, B. It would be like right side, left side. It would just be incredible.
Oh, really?
A thing that he does is that I've seen is he'll mic the stage because he doesn't usually play with anybody. So he stomps his foot.
That's awesome.
Right? So then you put a bunch of slap back on there, a bunch of low end through the subs, and just watch it just smack. It's
Really?
really, oh, it's so cool. But
That's really cool.
the way that you sing that is, man.
Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I really got to look him up though. That sounds cool. I got to see what he does because I just saw Lee Bryce at this Napa Goes Country. I was lucky enough to get over there. Oh, thank you, Guitar Dog.
Check this out. Did you see this one?
Nice guitar in that picture too, by the way. Oh,
I want to be Ian.
me too, man. John, you're great.
This is awesome.
Wow, guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is the crew. This is who we get to hang out with.
Dude, that's awesome. You guys rock. Thank you so much.
We look forward to seeing them. It's been so rad having you on the show.
Thank you guys, man.
It's really cool to bring artists that maybe these folks weren't familiar with. I mean, maybe Andy and Mike weren't familiar with you. I was, but holy smokes. Mom, do you remember him on The Voice? Now you do.
Thanks, Mom.
Mm-hmm. Mom knows what's up. Guys, do you have
one? Well, I'd like to say one thing. One of the things that I think that might be interesting for our group that's listening is that a lot of people, including myself, don't really know how when you say, well, I signed a publishing deal and I do co-writes.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And how does one do that?
How does one do
into
that?
something like that? And what's a day in your life when you're not on the road? What are you trying to?
Well, I can just give the completest, transparent, most version that I know, because here's the truth of it: is every single person I know doing this has found themselves there from a different way. Like it's like a thumbprint. Nobody arrives the same way. I think it's the weirdest business. Obviously, like in Nashville, and also I know there's different types of publishing deals. Like if you're in Texas, Nashville, California, New York, or wherever you are, like I'm not scoring music, film. I'm doing like pop country writing in Nashville. I signed one off of the show The Voice, which brought me to Nashville, where I started working so much and I enjoyed it so much that I moved here. But really what happens is I wrote songs for about, almost 20 years, I guess, by myself, not really knowing how to get a publishing deal, or even if that was something that I could ever get. And I think if somebody was looking for one and you're in the acoustic, Americana, folk, or country, I would say you really need to move to the place where that's happening, like a place like Nashville. It's never going to happen out in the backwoods of upstate New York. Like I've learned that. And I think a lot of it is just, you got to put yourself around the people that are doing that. And if you're not around them, you got to go find them. So I know that's not really direct. And I know that there's other people who have like I don't have any educational background in music. I'm not that guy. Like the majority of songwriters I work with don't have music degrees. And they're really just a bunch of guys and girls who have found themselves here. And I would say just come on down to Nashville and start writing with everybody you know, if that's what you're into.
Andy.
In pop and other stuff, I think that it's now a lot more producers than lyricists. Like country's always going to be about the story. So there's a lot of lyricists, but I think pop music, I don't know pop. Like I'm really not a pop guy, but I do know that it's heavy on the production side. So you got to really dive into YouTube for that one. You know, I think the best productions that you can make will help you. But
Andy,
yeah, it's not great.
Are you going to move to Nashville, Andy?
Not this year.
You know what I will say though, just because I know I can ramble and not make any sense for somebody who's listening, is I never co-wrote with anybody in my life until I moved to Nashville. It's like not a thing in every state. Like in Texas, it's not really a thing. Like you're really more just a band or an artist, and you represent yourself solely. In a place like Nashville or Los Angeles or maybe even New York, there's tons of artists who aren't writers, but they're performers and entertainers. And I didn't really separate the two in my life until The Voice. And it makes so much sense now. But that's where, you know, you got to co-write, you got to collaborate. And through the collaborations, you kind of find that.
I think that a lot of the things Ian's talking about tonight are resonating with me because I read an article recently. Do you guys know a guy named Daniel Rawson from Grizzly Bear? Right.
From where?
A band called Grizzly
Bear.
Yeah.
So Daniel recently read a story where he talked about needing to feeling like he needed to go into the woods to find his art. Right. And actually he was upstate New York that he relocated to for a while, and he lost himself there because he needed to find that balance between the quiet solitude thing that a lot of artists search for, but also the chaos and the interaction and the day-to-day and the freeways and all the stuff that is the opposite of the solitude. And a lot of the things that you're saying about how, you know, you can go up there and you can hang out, and you're lucky that you were with those guys in the woods growing up and around those people. But I think also that the other side of that balance that everybody needs is to be in a spot like Nashville. So it's an interesting dichotomy. It's a real challenge. You know, it's two different ways of living, but I think that they're really important for somebody like yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, we all found our path to being here and being completely obsessed with music and everything around it one way or another. Like, you know, you're going to find it if you're really just purely addicted to all this stuff. Like, you're going to find it. But like you just said, I didn't know that Nashville was for me. I probably would never have found it. Like if I had just kept touring on my own, I didn't have that mindset. So you don't know until you know. And sometimes you need somebody just to say, hey, just go live there for a bit out of a van. See if you like it, you know.
Did you find that that's a really great point, Andy. I'm glad you asked that question, really. Because a lot of people don't
also, before I forget, there's a Levon Helm quote that is, ain't it easy when you know how? Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's life.
He actually says that in one of the.
That's life right there, man.
What it is, but,
Ain't it easy when you know how? A lot of people know nothing about publishing or even the idea of co-writes. I come from that world too, where I don't understand it. I'm like, what do you mean? You just write. You just get together with a band and you write and you do this thing. And then spending more and more time in Nashville. Nashville, really, it's a real. I've had a wonderful time meeting different songwriters and collaborators and co-writers and all of that. And there are people in Nashville who just write songs, and that's their life.
Many. That's like all the people I know. That's what they do. They don't perform here.
They don't want to perform, or they don't want to do or then you get the breakouts, right? You get the Chris Stapletons of the world who.
Well, there's a guy right now. Have you heard of Ernest?
Oh yeah.
You know,
we actually featured Ernest in this BMI. He had a BMI #1 song, and we featured him in this campaign that we did with BMI.
I love that.
and he's blowing up.
Dude,
I mean,
he's so great, and he wrote so many awesome songs, like Chris Stapleton. You know, these guys were writing for years before you're seeing them push their songs, and that's how this area works. So there's a lot behind it. You know, I think you're right though, but you know, the one thing, just to full circle it, like what you said, Jay, like in the beginning, is kind of like you got to give it away. The more you co-write and give your best ideas away in a room of strangers, like that concept was foreign and kind of scary to me, to like walk in a room, here's these people, I don't know them, and I'm going to give my best ideas that I have been like, you know, like a squirrel, like hoarding away for months. And it's like, that's what you do. I go into every write and I put the best possible thoughts and best material on the table every time. And everybody does. And that's how we're all going to grow, by giving the best and not like kind of reserving everything. And, you know, it's just an interesting philosophy that I'm really grateful to be experiencing now that I didn't know about.
The best athletes in the world. See, I'm bringing it back to sports. The best athletes always have a team. They don't win it themselves.
Nobody does.
You know, you get the best shooter in the world in the NBA, Steph Curry, and after they win, he says, yeah, the team really did it down the stretch. We pulled together. That Warriors team couldn't win without their zone defense in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing in music. You got to have a team. You, Ian, have a wonderful team.
I do, man. I have the best team ever.
They're attentive. It's a joy just to communicate via email.
Yeah, they're good. They make you feel good through an email.
They don't always. It's not always that way. How much of all of this would you say is luck? You know, is there's a fair amount of luck and there's a fair amount of hard work, and you can be lucky and work hard.
Well, like what's that? I know there's a really great saying I wish I could pull out. Like luck is a combination of like preparedness and timing or something like that. My family, like my fiance Ayla, she and I, from the ground up, started learning everything together, and that was the beginning of my team. Like she was managing me, booking shows. Like we were learning Final Cut and Logic and all these programs together, because you got to buy them, you got to work and get all this gear. And like Sweetwater, thank God for 0% interest. You know, like that's like how I'm here today. Is a success story from Sweetwater. But it's all the team, man. Like the best leaders. Like I am not good at any of this business stuff, but like I have a team that really helps guide me, and I trust them. Preparedness meeting opportunity. Yes, Daria.
That's exactly it. That is it. That is exactly what we're talking about. That's why we have the artistpreneur come and hang out with us over here on the side. Nice. You have a really great quote that we can, you know, maybe we touched on this a little earlier, but another quote in the article I read about you was, I really got my education on the road from other musicians, from older musicians.
Always. Yeah.
And I think that you are a shining example of do what you want. It's a lot of hard work.
Oh, it's brutal. You know, like music, and for anybody thinking about talent, like music is not a talent thing. It is a last man standing thing. It's how much beating can you take from the world, and how many thousands of no's can you take with a smile on your face. And that's what I think music really is. And like, as soon as you stop caring, you just do what you like and absorb that from other musicians. And that's what it's about. You go, like, I think people, like I was getting caught up with TikTok. Like half my life now is like focus on TikTok. Okay, like I can do that, but you know, sometimes it's hard to like get up and do that, and you know, change your mindset to what you think music was going to be, and all this stuff. And you know, you just can't be looking for approval from anything but from inside. Otherwise, I think you really get lost. And that's something that I've always had. And my guitar teacher, my childhood guitar teacher, man, he calls me up all the time. I got to call him back even now. And he always checks me. He's always like, you got to stay humble. Like, don't be this, don't be that. He's just a good dude. And, you know, he's 70 years old and still practices hours a day by himself because he loves it. And like, that's the way I want to live, you know?
Man, it's been a joy having you on the show. It's a learning experience for all of us. I was just put a comment over there in the section. Anybody have any last minute questions for Ian? If not, we're gonna dive into Lindsay's question. Lindsay's not here. See, we have this segment called Lindsay's
Oh,
question,
nice.
but it's the Mike Venezia version. It's the Mikey V class version. But we'll give the feed a little bit time to catch up. There's always a little bit of a delay. We'll give the feed a little bit of a time to catch up. If you got any questions for Ian? Oh, great question. Peter, what a great question. Ian, so where from here?
Honestly, right now, I mean, I'm heading to I'm heading to San Diego next week. Like literally, the next stop is out there for shows, but really just tours. You know, I got the record coming out. Really grateful to have the team, like we were just talking about, record label. Got the whole thing going, and we're releasing a record in September. And I'm just trying to tour as much as humanly possible and hang with guys like all of you in the chat here and fine folks at Taylor. Like this is all it's about, man. I don't know.
Hey, if you're coming to San Diego, maybe you should do an acoustic session with us if you have time.
Dude, I would love to. And so be it, because of the flights being insane, I'm there an entire day early on the 27th.
All right.
Or at least we could hang out and get some tacos or something.
Definitely. You know what's up. Okay, we got a few more questions here. So where from here? Craig wants to know, what was that thumb pick you used?
Oh, Craig, this Black Mountain. Look, I got a light there. These are the Black Mountain thumb picks. They got a spring on them. Sorry. They got a spring. And my violinist and mandolin player, Kyle Pudens, showed me this. It's honestly been really amazing because I have a hard time strumming with the larger, like Dunlap ones. They're just too long. But this is like a normal. You can look at the length. It doesn't go past your thumb too much. So Black Mountain.
Jaria's got a good question. Biggest lesson from being on The Voice?
Oh man, I got about 5 vocal notes that I use, and some people have about 55. And the biggest lesson I got in musical life is nobody can be you. You know, like you are the only person that can be you and be authentic and find your voice. Don't worry about other people. My neighbor was John Holiday, one of the most talented vocalists on the planet. He's like a famous opera singer. And we were next door neighbors. His rehearsals were much different than my rehearsals, you know, but the thing is, you just got to be yourself. Tell your story.
Oh, good. What's the best advice about making music you've been given?
Oh, I don't know. I get so much that I've still learned. I'm still such a student, you know. The one thing that I'm starting to do now is like, just make sure that you want to listen to your own stuff in 40 years. You know, like that's my check. It's like, am I going to want to sing this when I'm 70? Can I represent this? Because I'm in it for life. You know, I'm not trying to, like, I'll definitely take like a hit, you know, but I'm just, you gotta represent for the rest of your life. So think about it that way.
Be your favorite band. I always say it. You gotta be your favorite band.
There you go.
All right, Phil. Oh, the question guru, Phil. Who are your favorite artists and influences?
Oh man, that's deep. You know, I listed a bunch of local guys that really shaped my early years. You know, and songwriting wise, I'll tell you like a real sleeper in my life, like 2 guys. I'll say Jack Johnson and Blaze Foley are 2 guys that I think are much more clever than I'll ever be. And I like to reference them when I'm not feeling clever enough. Oh, I gotta say, Guitar Dog just brought up Paul Cawthon, and I absolutely love Paul Cawthon. He is he's country as you know what, but big fan. So I'm a big fan of Paul's too. He's got a great new record out. Have never met him, hope to.
Ian, we're just glad you dropped by.
John, thank you, man. Me too.
Ian, I write songs, but I've wondered what is the best way to get them out there for artists to hear?
Oh, that's really good. You know, the one thing, a lot of guys like myself, we were always kind of hesitant with social media, and we were like, shows, it's all about shows. Like, go to the show, be a physical live show. But you really can get a lot of music out and send it to people. I get a lot of music sent to me. And the funny thing is, I listen to like the majority of it, whether I respond and use it or not. I listen to like everything. So send songs out to people, but do it like not overbearing and rudely, where people just like, hound people or just don't take no. Some people just aren't into it, but sending messages,
DMs.
slide on into the DMs.
Slide on into the DMs. JD, where can we find your tour information?
IanFlaniganmusic.com. Got all that.
FlaniganMusic.com. All right. Any plans to get back to the Northeast? So a Vermonter. I love that. A Vermonter might see you live.
A Vermonter felt like I used to play at the Dragonfly Barn. No, that was in Maine. Where is it? I want to go back there. I'll remember one day. I am playing a secret show on June 24th in Kingston, New York, but that is 4 hours from where you are. However, I'll buy you a drink if you show up to that show.
That is an awesome. Do it,
Peter.
Show.
Come on down, man.
Alrighty. Markion has one. How does Ian blend the pickups on his guitar?
I'll just show him real quick. There's a few people, man, that do it their way. What I'm doing is this. This is like a Grace Felix preamp. It's fancy, but it really helps me. It's been like a surgical EQ, but this right here, channel, I can't do it backwards. It's funny. Here's DI1, DI2. You can blend them right here. It has a mix button. Get more of one or two right there. Super straightforward. If I can use it, you can be a master.
That's so good. Whatever. What else we got here? Ian. Boom. Ian, what stirs your heart most to encourage writing?
Oh man.
That's a fantastic question.
What a question. That's a beautiful question. Every day I'm so torn with I'm entering this point in my life where, I'm raising a kid. And just in that sentence right there, I could think of about 7 years of guitar writing and music making alone based off of the rise and dynamic falls of life and emotions that come along with a day in that life. Everything I do is to try to make somebody else feel better. And that is it. And as long as there's somebody in the world that needs that, I'm good to go.
That's amazing. That I think we should end the Q&A right there on that one, and we will set up Lindsay's question, the Mike V version, episode 73. Lindsay's question, Mike V's edition.
Mike V style.
Mike V class.
Mike V brace.
Mike V brace.
And no one knows what his question will be. No need to study, nor a doctorate degree. Ian might think twice, maybe you'll agree. It's just a question from Mike V.
So good. He does this right then on the spot. He makes
on
this
the fly.
on the fly.
You're in Nashville, right?
The Northwoods of Nashville.
Northwoods of Nashville.
That's right.
Imagine if he had a songwriting deal, a publishing deal. He'd make a killing every week because he just writes songs. He writes 4 songs an episode.
Bam, bam, bam.
So, you get the mechanicals on that. Yeah, it's all good. Well, Ian, question I have for you. It was tough coming up with something because there were so many great questions that came in tonight from the chat, and a couple of them were just like, well, can't ask that. I can't ask that. Can't ask that. But on the fly, in my publishing deal, I came up with a question. So you obviously reference many different guitarists that were your influence and that you listened to and that you really cherish their music. But what artist or musician or band do you think that we'd be surprised that you would have in your record collection? Like what would it be like? Oh, that's just, wow. It's so against type.
Wow, I don't ever think of it that way. I guess, like a lot of 80s hair metal is like running,
Yes!
like flying
Yes!
through my veins. I am a failed 80s hair metal singer, is what I am. And now I'm a country singer. No, I'm just kidding. I love I'm going to just shout out one of my friends because I hope you guys go look at him. Sean Whiteford from my town. I love everybody from my town. Sean Whiteford, best rock vocalist on the planet. I guarantee you'll never find a better one. But there's a lot of that the hair metal genre that I'm such a baritone. Like it's like it didn't want me in any way. And I love it so much from a distance. Like all the everything from Journey and pop and 80s down to like Dio and all that stuff. In my head, I sound like that. And then when I listen back, I'm an octave too low. So that's really what I would say. I actually, really quick trivia, that song Devil in My Hands that I played you was produced by Phil Niccolo and Obie O'Brien, who's Bon Jovi's engineer. So I get a lot of insight there. And like, that's the closest I'll ever get to the hair metal.
Can you give us 4 bars of Holy Diver really quick? Just right now.
Holy Diver! That's all, man. It's kind of, it's an octave too low. But
that was awesome.
what about you, Mike? I feel like you got the highs, dude.
No, I certainly don't have I have the nothings.
Oh,
The nothing.
he's modest. He's modest, man.
Going back to what we were talking about, finding your voice and how like you just do you, and how Philip in the chat was like, what was it, Peter was saying like, I don't need a better voice. I need a different voice.
Oh yeah.
I don't need to find my own. I need to find somebody else's voice. But just the truism to that is, I'll put my voice down all day long, but I was producing a song for a band a couple of weeks ago, and the singer, she's got an angelic voice, an amazing angelic voice. And then I was like, I can't do what you do. Well, why don't you play us, something? Well, here's what I do. And she's like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
You do that really well.
Right.
It takes special talent to do that. It's just like, well, we can't see the forest from the trees sometimes,
You cannot, man.
And the way I sing is not the way that you sing, and it's not the way that Jay sings, it's not the way that Andy sings. It's the way that I sing. And if you could own that and you can embrace it, you could do so much more, because then it's not staying within yourself. You're just expressing yourself. And that's, you don't need a different voice. You need your own voice, and you need to embrace it and own it. So
I love that, man. I mean, on any given session, like with the real players and the real hitters, I might go through a whole series in my own mind of I am trash and I'm quitting to, okay, this was great. I had the best day of my life in like a series of 5 hours. So
Don't ever quit.
yeah, no, you can't. It's just one of those things. Everybody gets that, it doesn't matter where you are. You're still going to doubt. That's just,
We
part
are
of it.
our own worst critics. That is
That's right.
100% true.
100%.
Peter's coming to the show in Kingston on the 24th.
And you're going to buy him a drink.
That's right. Peter, I got you.
I love how it was
gotcha.
a secret show until you mentioned it.
I know. See, that's what do they call that? What kind of media is that? I don't even know. It's reverse psychology. Now,
Are you going to get yelled at?
Maybe, but
Okay.
It's like in some guy's living room, and now like
Yeah,
20,000 people show up for.
no, that would be
cake.
cool though.
Yeah, Peter said, send me the details. All
I
right.
will. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get Peter there.
Let's get Peter there. All right. Thank you. Let's move on. 2 minutes of sports, and then we are going to do trivia, and then we're going to bounce. Ian, you've been so fantastic. Get ready for sports talk. I know you're a real big sports guy. This is going to get awesome. All right, let's go.
Two minutes of sports. Here we go again. Baseball, volleyball, football, handball, basketball, pinball, fastball, mothball, passball, lost ball, free ball, snowball, golf ball, low ball, high ball, oddball. On 2 minutes of sports.
All right, we got some scores. San Francisco Giants 8-2. Colorado, they're beating Colorado. the Cubs because Tobias needs to know this. See, he already posted it. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Gabriel O'Brien, this one is for you. Detroit lost. Dang it. I'm a Detroit fan, Ian. Detroit Tigers got whooped. Oh, boy. I won't go into the rest of the scores because there's so many. But we're in the NBA conference finals now, which I'm excited about. However, Boston is getting stomped by Miami. Hockey, we got the Blues that are up on Colorado. That's exciting. I like that. See, I'm a Red Wings fan, so I shouldn't like the Blues, but I like the Blues much more than Colorado. And that's all I got. I mean,
I got something to add to it. This is an interesting thing that when I looked earlier. So somebody mentioned that the Astros are beating up on the Red Sox, and that makes me happy because, well, I'm a Yankee fan and I hate the Red Sox. It's sort of ingrained when you do that. Well, Nathan Eovaldi, who was a former Yankee, he was pitching for the Red Sox. He did something that only 2 other pitchers did tonight. He gave up 5 home runs in 1 inning. 5.
Whoa.
Long inning.
Yeah.
Long inning.
By the end of that inning, the Astros were winning 9-1.
Yeah. Well, what I don't want to talk about right now, I do want to talk about Yadier Molina and Waino being the best 1-2 in baseball. 203 wins between them. That's just fantastic. Okay, that's great. I don't want to talk about that the Yankees may or may not be the best team in baseball right now.
Why not? Only because they have the best record.
Fine.
Hitting like crazy, pitching fantastically.
Should we talk about Premier League? You want to talk about? Okay, never mind. We'll let you go. Ian, it's been so great. It's been so great to have you on the show. We're going to do one last segment. It's a little bit of trivia. We call it Evan's Question. There's a fella who watches this show. His name's Evan Smith. Yadier is legendary. Look, he just made a comment. Yadier is legendary. He is. I love that dude. And Adam Wainwright's a Taylor player, so we got it going on. Go Cards. Okay, that's fine. You can say that. Ian, so we have this. We used to have trivia, but Evan Smith kept winning all of the trivia.
Oh man!
So we turned it into what's called Evan's Question. So this question comes from Evan. Here's how this works. You guys are going to get a nice little care kit, but we're really focused on string changing. We got to do the string changing thing. So we're going to send you some strings and we're going to send you a nice little care pack. All right. Question's pretty good. I'm all about this. If you guys win, send us an email to primetime@taylorguitars.com. However, we changed a global email platform. So the Primetime email I've heard from time to time is being kicked back. It's fine. You can just hit our service email. If you go to our website, get customer service and tell them you won Primetime, they'll send it up to us while we wait for our email to get fixed. All right, here we go. Gabe, you ready to roll this question? Take it away, Gabe. You got this. What year did Taylor release 12-string guitars that were also 12 frets? The rules. Tobias and Evan and Gabe can't answer the question. I forgot to say the rules.
Most days, it don't matter how much useless stuff you know. Here on the Primetime part of the show is Evan's Q.
So awesome.
Put your knowledge on the line, Evan's Q. Yeah, it's really just the same as trivia.
Evan, that was a good question. Zach nailed it like the first person.
Wait a minute. There's an asterisk that goes along with this. So Zach did that first, and then he has subsequently guessed 2017, 2018. He's just going through every year like 1942.
Hey, it's a good technique, man.
That's
He's
a great
done pretty well.
question.
It's a good question, man.
That's a great
Zach,
question.
hit us up again. If the Primetime at Taylor Guitars email does not work, just hit up our service email. You can go to our website and hit the contact button, and you'll be able to get a hold of us. Just tell him Jay said to email me, because you get it. You get the deal. I would have won this, just saying. I know, Tobias, but you know everything. You've only been a Taylor dealer for 400 years.
Paul left a note on my Facebook wall and saying, you know, hey, can I answer the trivia question tonight? I said, listen, I'm not in charge of that, but no.
All right, it's been a long show. Ian, you're so fantastic, man. We are so stoked to have you as a Taylor artist. Keep playing your music, man. You
thanks,
inspire
man.
us all. I'm glad you found your voice. That is, it's spectacular, guys. Go check out Ian Flanigan all over. However you listen to music, Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube. Go hit him up on YouTube. Find him, watch him play some shows, and check out the episodes of The Voice that he was on, because they are pretty doggone spectacular. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next week. Again, we have a very special show next week. I am not telling you what it is. And episode 75 may be the most special show ever. I don't even know who's on it. I think we should bring Ian back.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you guys.
Ian, thank you so much for hanging out with us and just stopping by. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Andy Lund to take us out.
What was it? What was it? It was prime time. It was prime time. What the heck was it? Well, that was prime time. Ian is a songwriter who used to build Spectre bass. Fishing, family, and picking put him in a happy place. He went from a Winnebago to top 3 on season 19. Strong is a woman who can put up with you. Music is about the story and the dream. Things you learn on prime time. I almost got it on a Tuesday. Thank you very much, Ian. Take it easy.
Man.
Thank you all for watching tonight. We'll see you next week on Prime Time.
Prime time. See you next